Sekiro shadows die twice.
Sekiro.
The agenda for today's patientgamer review of the Plight of the Wolf. The reason Sekiro is so difficult isn't because it's another ridiculously hard Souls game, but it's because Sekiro employs a completely unique combat style that action games and RPGs generally don't use. Stamina bar? Boom! In the bin. Blocking? Nope. Mostly ineffective. Rolling and evading? Something you've been using, a staple in the genre? Works sometimes, but not ideal for most situations. So all the muscle memory, the instincts you've gained from playing not only Souls games, but pretty much every RPG and action game around, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, The Witcher, are now ineffective. The tactics you've learned in your vast experience of gaming isn't going to help you much in Sekiro. FromSoft put all their developing stats into boom parrying, endurance, all these other things, but the things you're conventionally used to using, this is not your day. Bro has so much stamina, he doesn't even need a stamina bar, bro. Bro can run forever. And goodness me, bro, if you can't deflect, it's not looking good for you, bruv. It's not looking good.
Big man thing, yeah? It's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good.
I've enjoyed myself a great deal with this title. If you're somebody who's played a lot of these games, the Souls community has a very large and big community, and this might be the game you've been looking for the longest time. The formula may be getting a little bit stale for you. For me, the exploration is what tends to be the highlights for these types of games. Conquering these levels, defeating these very cool and interesting enemies, it's quite satisfying. So changing or revolutionizing the combat system completely might be the change that you've been looking for from Soft. Sekiro definitely maintains the complexity of the Souls games, but the RPG elements are all but abandoned. There's still, of course, some player choices you're used to experiencing, particularly in the quests, but through and through, Sekiro is an action-adventure game. Your decisions go into more so which shinobi path you're going to delve into and what you'll adopt, but we'll go deeper into that a little bit later. So let's get right into the review, gent, and talk about Sekiro, the Plight of the Wolf. Starting, of course, with the story.
時は戦国末期。火の元すべてを焼いた戦火は未だに。
Now, Sekiro surprisingly has a prevalent narrative experience compared to the other Souls games we've previously experienced. I don't think they've ever been bad at storytelling necessarily. They've always chosen to go in a different direction, focusing on lore. You're supposed to read books and understand these type of things for you to get what the narrative is all about. They never chose to put their effort into the narrative forefront. Sekiro differentiates itself from that. The story is interesting and the journey of the wolf. Sekiro is interesting as you regain your memories as a shinobi positioned to guard the young master Lord Kuro, who is blessed or cursed with the power of the dragon blood. This power grants one the power of immortality, and the one who consumes this blood as well, that said power as well. Due to this, many people in the world want Lord Kuro's power to gain absolute power over Ashina and the entire area. You ought to protect your lord as assigned so by your father, the owl. There are many interesting characters you'll interact with, and it was definitely interesting. While there definitely is more story than usual with Souls games, the narrative is still definitely more so an auxiliary benefit. It's not the main beast. It's more a benefit than the main event. You'll do much more fun stuff in the exploration and then you are going to be talking to people. For you to really enjoy the Sekiro experience, you have to intentionally go out of your way and talk to NPCs. The NPCs around you are going to help you become stronger. You need to actually spend some time to go and look for these guys, and doing so will actually give you more context to the events and to the people that you're going to be interacting with. You're going to get the backstory. Sake, which is a Japanese, more so unique to Japan because they have such an abundance of rice. It's a fermented rice formula that is this alcohol that is popular in Japan. Sake is used as a pretty interesting tool here in Sekiro. You give the character a drink and that NPC will begin to tell you quite a lot, maybe more so than what they should be telling you, or rather they open up to you. Compared to the other Souls games that have been made previously, from what I've experienced, I definitely care a lot more about these characters, and I'm genuinely more interested in what these guys have to say. They have some really interesting dialogue that gives you really relevant history, good backstory, and give you context to the situation you're in or to the people that these individuals have eventually become. As a gamer who really enjoys narrative-driven games, the intention they give these characters is really appreciated. There's usually a decent amount of player choice in these games, but usually you don't really care what's going to happen to these characters because the quests overall are just meh, whatever. So, in Sekiro, you actually care. The player choice is substantial, from the side quests ranging over to the main quest as well. Both have diverging paths and bosses. The diverging paths are not exactly that great, but they're serviceable. They're okay. It's not going to give you a whole brand new game. This is not an RPG, of course, but they're interesting enough for you to maybe do a new game plus or to make some specific decisions. The tale pans out in a very cool way, and your curiosity and wanting to conquer the world is no longer the only reason you're going to be playing the game. You want to find out how this entire intriguing tale is going to end up. Now, gents, of course, I'm not going to spoil the story for you. It's quite an interesting aspect of the game, and you're going to want to experience it for yourself when you do eventually get the game. Let's get on to what you're really watching this video for. The gameplay, the meat and bones, all that matters. I'm really enjoying Sekiro, but I want to point this out to you, and I don't want this to be perhaps an inhibitor for you when you're starting out. In the earlier stages of the game, especially in the early game, the difficulty curve from normal enemies to mini bosses is really large, you know. You'll feel that if you're fighting the normal guys, it's a cakewalk. But as soon as you get to these mini bosses, they spring out of nowhere and they curb stomp you. I don't mind the mini bosses are hard, but my issue is that the normal enemies were perhaps made a little bit too easy or not challenging enough to prepare you enough. So by the time you reach the mini boss, you're like, whoa, what the hell is going on? It's like a huge insurmountable wall that completely comes out of nowhere, and you simply lack the training, you lack the experience, you lack the skills to be able to scale it. While other games, I feel they'll give you some rock climbing gear, they'll slowly incline you to be ready to fight that particular enemy. But Sekiro definitely does throw you into the deep end, and for some people, this may be the reason that they end up dropping the game entirely. But if you're still early in the game, the Ashina Reservoir bosses can really prove to be a challenge in the earlier game. But I will be honest with you, this is an issue in the earlier game, but as you progress, I would definitely see the litmus test for you, and you'll find out of this when you finally reach it. When you defeat Genichiro Ashina at the castle, I would say that's when the game truly begins. That's when you've become or developed a certain amount of competency where you'll be able to properly be able to deal with these mini bosses. You'll be comfortable with the game mechanics. You'll be more used to dealing with deflection and all this. By this point, you would have defeated Lady Butterfly. You would have defeated Gyobu. You would have defeated a number of significant enemies that are in the game, and you'll have enough experience, competence, and skills to be able to deal with everybody else. I will genuinely say to you, if you're starting out with Sekiro, maybe this is your first Souls game, please do not drop the game just yet until you've beaten Genichiro Ashina at the top of the Ashina castle. Please just try that, and if you still don't enjoy Sekiro, there's nothing else I can do for you, bro. But this really is a great game, and I want you to give it a good enough chance before you ultimately drop it because of the frustration it comes from. It's a really big difficulty. As I mentioned before, Sekiro is by no means an RPG. The amount of player choice is vastly limited in comparison, but what you trade for is an absolutely sensational combat experience. The developers were able to put all the effort into the katana combat. It's flashy, badass, and is one of the best combat system I have interacted with in years. Abandoning the stamina bar for posture was a very bold choice, but it definitely paid off. Aggression is rewarded. Cowering away from your enemy is usually the wrong choice in a lot of cases. Face your enemy like a man. Live or die by the sword. Deflection is king. Deflection over evasion. Mikiri counter over dodge. No matter the size of your foe, deflection and facing them head on is always the better option, with only the exception of being enemies who use melee attacks, who you will very rarely ever come across. Damn, I haven't even mentioned the prosthetic arm. This is a foundational tool of the entire combat experience, and it's something you will definitely enjoy interacting with. Now, you have the ability to improve your shinobi abilities via skill points you gain from defeating enemies. Unlike in the Souls game, the two things are very different. When you die, you are guaranteed to lose half of your experience gained no matter what. There is no option to go and collect the souls from where you died. If they're gone, they're gone. The same goes for Sin, the currency in Sekiro. Your only saving grace is to attain a full skill point. Once you get a full skill point, no matter how many times you die, you won't lose that gained XP. The Sin, the currency, the money in the game can also be saved if you purchase coin purchase. No money is lost during death. Spirit emblems are then what charge you for the special abilities and shinobi techniques and your prosthetic attachments. You use your skills, these ones that you get from experience. As you progress, you will unlock more trees and get more special moves. You have limited points, so choose your tree quite wisely. Your prosthetic arm, the one you lose pretty early in the game, is also quite diverse. This is a fundamental part of the entire gameplay experience, and there are a number of enemies that are very susceptible to a specific prosthetic arm upgrade. And as you continue through the game, you'll realize that, okay, I can definitely benefit from using this arm all the time. Your prosthetic arm is very diverse. You can attach different attachments, from a spear to an axe to a bloody flamethrower. Bro, the sky is the limit, and there's a huge amount of diversity in this. And what's really cool about this is that they don't restrict you to just to these things. There are multiple and a big upgrade tree, so you can definitely go into a direction that you feel more comfortable with. If you want your flamethrower to have a huge amount of range and it to be much more potent, to be explosive, you can choose to go in that direction. But if you prefer to use the baseline type thing, and to prefer to toss them and sieve them and fill them with oil, whatever your choice is, Sekiro definitely gives you quite a few. Each boss and character always have some sort of weakness. You as the player just have to find that out. You need to exploit that weakness, and chances are there will be maybe one or two, more so one prosthetic arm attachment that the boss is susceptible to. This game treats you like an adult. Find your way yourself, make wise choices, and be punished or rewarded for them. Attentive and explorative players will find great joy with this title, as many areas and items are made secret. Do your due diligence to find every single nook and cranny. If you do well, you can even get prayer beads that will increase your health and posture directly. These prayer beads are what's used to essentially upgrade your character throughout. You don't use XP to upgrade your guy. No, you need to find these damn prayer beads, my G. Posture is essentially your combat composure.
Composure, lads. Composure.
Posture is essentially Sekiro's kinda like a stamina bar type thing. So your goal in this game is to break each other's posture. This is essentially how much combat damage you can take while blocking attacks. Deflecting reduces how much posture damage you take, and you injure your enemy's posture. You have to play the game yourself to truly understand how this mechanic works. But you hit him and he blocks, you'll see a bar above his head, and you eventually have to weigh and take down his combat composure, maybe it's stamina, however you want to start this, but you have to break that down. The bosses here are as hard hitting as ever, as you don't have any armor, a great sword, you're a ninja, you follow the way of the shinobi, and those skills will be all that you can rely on. The game really has some great boss fights, the music is great, the visuals are absolutely stellar. Some of fromsoftware's best visuals ever, my guy, from the art style to the actual graphical fidelity, truly something special. It's only that, but whatever you win, or whether you lose, however the battle ends up, you're gonna look like a badass. You're gonna look like a badass holding the L. No matter how you slice it, it's going to be a cool experience. This is definitely helped by the game's resurrection ability that the game employs, a pretty significant gameplay ability and gameplay mechanic. Thanks to the dragon's blood from the divine air, you're able to resurrect at will. You replenish this meter by using death blows, which is, as you play the game, you'll find out exactly what these are. You get at maximum 3 resurrection nodes, and they get exhausted then replenished every time that you rest, and of course do more death blows. Surprisingly, this is not even a little bit connected to the dragon rot, so you can pretty much resurrect as much as you want with no ramifications. The really real point is just don't die. So the game pretty much punishes you for dying to a point. Now, I don't want to tell you guys too much, but if you procure the game, don't worry too much about the dragon rot. You'll get enough items over time to be able to quell it, and you won't have to worry about that, especially when you start getting a bit of money. So do not worry about it. You'll become a G. For me personally, this is an aspect of Souls games that I truly enjoy. And if you're somebody who likes linear titles, FromSoftware are one of the best at it. FromSoftware went into untested waters here by using mechanics that they usually don't use. I thought that this would mess up the usual style of exploration, but it didn't. In fact, it improved on it greatly. Adding a bloody jump button? This unlocked exploration so much. This allowed for there to be genuine stealth in their games. Moving fast as a ninja from building to building is absolute heat. With the added grapple hook, traversal is fun and entertaining. It gives you the tactical advantage over your enemies. This allows for stealth kills, even on some of these mini bosses, bro. For the first time, you really have to look up a lot. Like, you have to look up, like, okay, is this where I can go? Is this where I can go? More things and places are now completely reachable, completely changing the exploration dynamic. No longer do you have to fall in a specific way to get an item. You just jump there. This has changed the game as a result, as there are less shortcuts, as the world is far less rigid. The game has embraced an expansive linear approach. You can simply grapple over the wall now. No need to drop a ladder or a specific gate to go to that path faster. The focus is placed far more on the combat and the enemies. The AI in this game is pretty damn good. When I finally played the Sekiro game, it had been a few years and they've had plenty of updates to be able to develop this game properly and aptly. This is possibly, the best AI and the best game designs, the best, character designs, the best enemy designs. They look great, and they've definitely showed their sharp chops right here in this title. Every enemy is different with their one and unique moveset, but if you have the game mechanics on lock, no basic enemy is going to stand a chance against you, my guy. The music's also great, bro. It really elevates these cool moments. Some of them look like straight out of an anime, bro. They're really excellent at creating atmospheric music. These soundtracks are not made to stand out like a thorn on your side, but are tailored to enhance the experience like a well-seasoned piece of meat. Just the right amount of seasoning takes this game to the next level. So as I've mentioned before, the game looks great. Not just in terms of graphical fidelity, but the art style here is special, bro. The characters, the enemy, the clothes, everything, the environments are beautiful. It's a sad, war-torn area of Ashina, but the beautiful places are definitely breathtaking. The beautiful, dilapidated Senpoku Mountain, the temple, there's so much to be seen. Despite all the pain, the anguish of war and death, it definitely is still captivating. The foundation of the land is remarkable, and such a place, a beautiful place, deserves peace, and you of the wolf are trying to attain that. The presentation of Sekiro is nothing short of phenomenal. This is a really special game, but what if we look at this game from a patient gamer perspective? What is the value proposition? Let's dig deeper, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to consider how long to beat and how much playtime you will get from Sekiro. So considering these statistics we're able to see right here, you will get about 29.5 hours focusing mainly on the main story. But if you really want to excel and get strong, you have to interact with the side content, get those prayer beads and level up. So the much more accurate game time is probably around 42 hours. You need to grind a little bit, a few times to get the upgrades that you really need. So from a gameplay side, you will definitely get your money's worth. You're definitely not going to be ripped off in any sense. Sekiro came out in 2019, so you will definitely get it at a much lower price today. Let's head on over to PS Deals and see what you will get for this title on sale. In South Africa, the lowest you'll actually be able to get it is 450 Rand. This is the lowest, and this is for a game that came out in 2019. It's a little bit steep for quite an older game, even on sale. You know, Souls games are actually one of those titles, and just games from FromSoft are those games that rarely actually lose their value. It seems masterpieces truly do age gracefully, so because it's a little bit steep, look out for a sale and pick this one up when you can. In the USA, the lowest you can also procure this, if you're looking over on PS Deals, is for $30. Not cheap, and you would actually hope that, you know, this is a pretty old game, bro. I should be able to get it for like pretty cheap, $5. Perhaps if you get it secondhand, perhaps if you go to your local game store, perhaps you'll be able to procure it for lower. But if you're using the online stores, which tend to be the lowest of the lows in most cases, this is as cheap as it's going to get. Note this, gents, Sekiro has no DLC or any special editions. Get the standard edition and you'll be all good. If you get it over on PC to see, is there any difference? Can I get it for cheap? Maybe if I buy it over on PC, it is a little bit cheaper, but not by much. On GG Deals, we're able to see that the lowest you can get this banger is at $26.99. Still pretty pricey even on PC, a place where games usually go at their cheapest, but as I said, FromSoft games are definitely a rare case. So ladies and gentlemen, considering everything, the quality of the game itself, the game, the time, the price, the quality, the visuals, everything, bro. As a patient gamer in general, bro. As a gamer in general, not even as a patient gamer, just as a dude who enjoys playing video games, Sekiro is a must buy. But I will put out this disclaimer. This game is not for the faint-hearted. Personally, this game brought me back to my childhood and why I fell in love with gaming. The difficulty, the complexity, the frustration, the awesomeness, everything. This is a special title right here. So if you're not willing to place real focus, grind a little bit, really learn this combat system, rather don't pick this game up. If you treat this game casually, you will not enjoy the experience. Hesitation means defeat. Shout out to Ishinashina. Sekiro Shadow Dies Twice is a masterpiece. It's getting a 10 out of 10 for me. A classic. Sekiro is a masterpiece that all gamers should at least experience. This is a game that's worth putting the elbow grease into. It's a unique game that will challenge you in every way. The ones that choose not to quit will be rewarded with a captivating tale and possibly the best combat experience gaming has to offer. Don't let this game pass you by, guys. Don't let this game pass you by. It is a classic, and if you're someone who enjoys anime, who wants to play a game that is a living anime that makes you look and feel like a badass, not a game that just makes you look like a badass because of the stellar and cool visuals. You feel like a badass because you genuinely will overcome difficult opposition in this title. Sekiro is a classic that I implore everyone who enjoys RPGs, everybody who enjoys action games, everybody who enjoys anime, everybody who is in this space should definitely delve into and enjoy. Don't quit early, gents. Don't quit early. Give this game a real shot and you'll be able to appreciate it for the greatness that it's able to produce you. Thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. I feel passionately about this game and I haven't made a review about a game that I feel so strongly about in a very long period of time. Sekiro is a special title that you will not forget anytime soon. Go ahead and pick this game up when you can. Yo, and a big shout out to my homie Brendan from Brom Squad. He's also a YouTuber who makes some really cool and captivating content on FIFA. Go ahead and check him out. He helped me out with that thumbnail. That's how I look so cool and crispy today. Shout out to him. He's definitely motivated me to step up my YouTube game and to step up the quality of my thumbnails. More quality is on the way, and shout out to the homie there. Those are my thoughts on this game, and tell me your thoughts down there in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you enjoy this game as much as I do? Just tell me how you feel. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy, gents.